guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie and today I'm going to be reviewing If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. This book follows the story of Autumn and Finney, who have always grown up together. They've always been best friends. Their moms are best friends. They're next door neighbors. They've basically been raised as family from the time when they were young children through middle school and high school. And it ends during the summer after they graduate high school. And this whole novel just is about their evolving friendship. It's about family. There's wonderful family dynamics in this book. And it's really just all about these two best friends, and they grow apart and then they grow back together again. And it's such a beautiful story. But I will go ahead and tell you this is a very, very sad book. So if that's not something you're into, then you probably shouldn't pick this up. But I personally love sad books. I am kind of morbid, so I enjoy reading really sad books. I love to research sad books and pick them up and read them, even though they may not be that popular. This one is not very popular at all, but I really enjoyed it. I gave this book a 4.75 out of 5 stars. I thought this book was beautifully written and just, it's so sad, but it's also just so beautiful and heartwarming. And I think the author did a great job of weaving all of those elements together. And the only issue that I had with this book was it was a very slow beginning for me. It is written in really short chapters, and most of them are only like a page and a half, maybe 2 pages. So they're really short, and it's basically each chapter is just a snapshot of Autumn and Finney's lives, and it follows their stories from the time when they're born all the way, like I said, all the way through high school. But the majority of this book follows them in high school, so the book really just kind of glosses over their whole childhood, and you really only get like just seemingly insignificant moments of their lives when they're children. And in the beginning of the novel, you haven't really connected with the characters yet, so you don't really care about this random moment on this random day when they were kids that has really nothing to do with the plot. So that's the only problem I had with this book. I did really enjoy it, and about a third of the way through I was super invested in the story. I had fallen in love with the characters and I was rooting for them. So I highly encourage you to continue reading, even if it is kind of slow for you in the beginning, because it does get past that. And I was blown away by the way this novel ended and resolved. I can honestly say this book shocked me. Like, it took me places that I didn't really expect. And I'm a person who always guesses cliffhangers, always guesses the ending of pretty much every book that I read. Nothing really surprises me. I can pretty much always guarantee you what the ending of a book will be. But this one got me. So I applaud the author for that, because that is a big accomplishment. Like I said, I really love sad books, so I wanted to read this anyway. I picked it up a few months ago and just hadn't read it. But then I found out that October in the US is National Depression Awareness Month. And because of that, I wanted to pick a book that deals with depression, and this book definitely does. I thought the depression was very well done in this book. I personally really related to it. I deal with depression myself, and the depression in this book was very relatable to me, and I can't speak for anyone else who struggles with depression or who has struggled in the past with depression. I can't speak to how you would feel about the depression in this book, but I personally really enjoyed it. And one thing about this book that I really appreciated is the author tackles seasonal depression, which is like never talked about anywhere really. The main character in this book gets depressed in the winter months. Like, it's cold outside, it's dreary, and the weather just isn't bright and cheery, and so the main character in the story develops depression every single year during the winter time. And that is also something that I have struggled with for years. So I really appreciated the representation of that in this book, and I thought it was well done. And overall, the depression in this book is taken very seriously. Suicide awareness is something that is prevalent throughout the whole book, and it is a very important part of the story. So if that is something that you're interested in reading, I definitely recommend this book. It also tackles things like divorce and how that can affect a child of a family whose parents are divorced. It deals with growing up in a single parent home. The secondary character of this book, he doesn't have a relationship with his father because he was born as a result of an affair, and his father doesn't have anything to do with him except for sending monthly checks in the mail and giving him Christmas and birthday presents every year. And so if that is something that you've experienced yourself, or if that's something that you want to read about, it's in this book, and I thought that was done really well too. Overall, like I said, I really enjoyed this book, and I highly recommend it if you haven't already read it. If you have not read this book, I am about to go into a spoiler section, so if you haven't read it, I want you to please stop this video, read it, and come back later after you have read the book and finish watching this video. It's super important that you are not spoiled for this book. I cannot stress that enough. Please read this book. Don't spoil yourself for it, and come back and we can discuss it together. So, my spoiler thoughts. Like I said, I was not really expecting this ending at all. I'm just gonna get into it. When I found out that Finney died, I was absolutely, just completely distraught. I was just like, my face was just frozen for probably 10-15 minutes, and then I was thinking about it hours later, and then I went to bed that night and I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about Finney's death. And then the next day I was still just so distraught. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and that is how much this death impacted me. When I went into this book, just based off of the excerpt on the back, I was expecting Finney to die from this car accident. But then when I read the first chapter, you know, it ends with Finney being alive after the accident. And so I was like, oh, okay, I guess this book isn't what I thought it was going to be about. I was wrong, and this whole ending absolutely wrecked me. You know, like, after that first chapter, I thought everything was gonna be okay. And I was like, I guess it's just not what I thought it was gonna be about. And that's okay, I'll keep reading, but I thought it was gonna be a really sad book. And then after the first chapter, I wasn't expecting it to really be sad anymore until I got to the ending. I was slapped in the face 3 times in the last probably like 5 pages of this book. First off, Finny dies. Then it absolutely broke my heart when Autumn finds out about his death. She's so distraught that she ends up trying to commit suicide, and that just broke my heart again. And then I was happy to find out that she was alive. And then you find out that she's pregnant with his child. That got me. I was so shocked. And my heart broke. And I didn't know what to do with myself. That's how much the ending of this book wrecked me. It wrecked me in the best possible ways. Like, I love sad books, and the ending was exactly what I was expecting when I first picked up this book. So I got what I wanted in the end. I just didn't think that I would actually get that sad ending. I was definitely surprised by it, and I absolutely loved it. Okay, that is it for this video today. If you want to know my full thoughts on this book, I have a book blog called madisonstory.com. I will leave it linked in the description below. I have a full review post on my blog if you want to check it out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!